Well, hello and welcome to Monday Night Live. It is Monday the 24th of January 2022 and tonight is the first of our member stories, and I'm very excited to introduce our special member. Well, all our members are special. Introduce our very first member story very soon. But if you are watching live, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments. I can't see you. I say this every week. I can't see you. So if you're in the gym jams or you've just got up or, haven't brushed your hair or whatever it might be or looking super glamorous, please go ahead and say hi in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. And if this is your first time tuning in, please let me know. Or if you're watching on the replay, I'd love to, if you could just type in replay. So I know there's some eyes watching. So go ahead. I'd love to have you let me know that you're watching. So tonight I'm going to chat with our member, Mandy, and I'm sure that you will be as inspired by Mandy's story as I am. It's an amazing story, and the more I get to chat with Mandy, and we were just doing that behind the scenes before I went live, the more inspiring her story is. And if you've got any questions for Mandy or for me, or for anything about Women's Fitness Adventures or anything in general, we can just hopefully answer that, provided it's on point. Then please just pop them in the comments and we'll go for that there. I could talk forever about Women's Fitness Adventures, and the reason we're introducing the member stories is they're real women like you who have amazing stories like you. We all have a story, and the stories need to be shared. And I have this saying that we are all unknowingly inspiring. So whether our legacy shows up tomorrow or whether our legacy shows up in generations to come, one little act or one little thing that you might do may have such a big impact on someone that you never know. And I think that they're the stories that need to be shared. So that's why we are back with our member stories for 2022. If you, as I said, Mandy, we're going to chat to in a moment. And Mandy has gone from almost burnout to bliss. And I think that's something that a lot of us can potentially have happen to us. And her journey of how she now has some balance in her life is such a wonderful story. If that sounds like you, I'm just going to put a link across the bottom. Then, check out our membership, because membership is currently open. So womensfitnessadventures.com/membership. It's along the top of the URL. Membership is currently open, and like Mandy, there are many, many women inside our community who have amazing stories to share. So without me going on and on and on, let's get Mandy into the room and give her a big welcome. Hi, Mandy. How are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm good, thank you. What a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm normally on the other side.
Cool. So nice to have you here. So let's just check in. We've got Kathy. Hi, Kathy in Essendon. Hello, Alison from Melbourne as well. Andrea in Brisbane. So we're covering the east coast of Australia. Oh, Julie Hazel. Hello, Julie. How are you? We've got a great group in Victoria now, Julie, so you might want to check us out. Cherie from Ningi and Leanne from Brisbane, Lorelei from Stanthorpe, Vanessa from Karoi, so still working outside. Okay. Helen Marie from the Mary Valley, Annette from Brisbane. Gosh, Cindy and Sydney, we're everywhere this afternoon, Mandy. So, and Sue Seeger is here as well. So you got some fangirls there. Okay, so Mandy, thank you for joining us this evening. And as we're about to find out, Mandy lives in a remote part of Australia, and it's quite remote, or even more remote now because it's been cut off by floods. So, Mandy, do you want to give us a little bit of background about you, where in Australia it is, which gives people a picture of how remote your location really is?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Yvonne. So, yeah, I live in the far north of outback South Australia, and I live and work in a small mining town. And as you may have seen on the news just recently, we had some amazing floods and rain come down from the cyclone from Western Australia. But it kind of washed out some of our roads. The benefit will be that we'll see some amazing sturt peas in August and September, so I can't wait for that. We are a little bit cut off, and the whole Eyre Peninsula of South Australia, the roads are all damaged, and but anyway. So, the little town that I live in, it's a little mining town. There's about probably 1,500 people that live here, and the mine has about sort of 3,000 people that work. But I'm a business manager for a company that I manage a high-end accounts for the mining companies and their contractors through the South Australian region. So it keeps me very, very busy, and it's something that I love to do. I'm South Australian through and through. So we won't talk about football.
No, we won't. No.
So I have, I'm married. I have two amazing one's not a teenager anymore, two children. Our daughter's 20. She's just moved interstate to join the RAF. She's been there for a couple of years. And our son, he's 17, still at home and is just starting his trade. My husband, he retired, thank goodness, a couple of years ago. So he's Mr. Mum for us at home, and he does such a sensational job taking care of us, thank goodness, because when he's away, I have to mum up, and that means cooking and doing all the things that I'm probably not so great at. So my kids learnt to cook and, wash their clothes and do all those independent things at a very early age. We also have a family home about 7 hours away from here, which we don't get to very often, and that's in a small coastal town. But that's pretty much heart and soul, and where I feel most zen when I go home. And I'm sure we have all of those places, and we need them, honestly. I'm a Capricorn, and which means I'm a very earthly sign. So Women's Fitness Ventures is a great fit for me because I love the outdoors and I love adventures and the desert and the beach and diving and just all sorts of things. I also, spend a lot of time volunteering in our small town as well, with our community, and I'm on many sort of, governing councils and things like that. So try and help out where I can.
That was tiring just listening to you, Mandy. That's a pretty intense life. So as you've heard, like, Mandy holds this incredible, amazing job, and we can hear that she's very passionate about work as well, and that you do live remotely. I know where your beach house, shack town is, and that's pretty remote as well. So, as far as Australia goes, being, a big, vast land, you've got yourself in some beautiful locations, but isolating as well.
Yeah.
So when, one of the things that we know about you, everyone who's watching knows that you got to this stage where you almost burnt out with your work. And we were chatting just before that, for those of us who love our job, and even those of us who, sometimes our job can be a little, there's always so much to do. How did you get to the point where you were working till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning? And what did you feel like at that point?
Yeah. How did I get there? I think I allowed myself to get there, and I shouldn't have let that happen. It was a bit of a journey, and I think over a couple of years, I went through some pretty intense changes with my daughter leaving, starting her career, moving interstate, and my world changed. My adventures stopped. Things I loved doing with my kids changed. We had some family traumas and and a few things there which really rocked the boat, and it was pretty hard to deal with. Plus we had COVID, so I just immersed myself into more work and more work and more work, and that was becoming just my life, and I forgot to have time for me. How did I stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? Now I don't know, but I did. And it affected my health severely, and I certainly would not be going back there.
Yeah, work's one of those things, isn't it? When you give, they say give a busy person a job, but if you're busy and you're doing a great job and you get more and more piled on, and you don't like to, we're all a bit of perfectionist on the inside, to try and get all that work done, but it's never ending. There is no ending to work. It will always be there. And we were chatting just before, when we all say we're behind, I'm behind today on my life. It's our life. How do we get behind? We set the agenda. I think that's really to recognize and realize that you're in this space and you needed to make a change. But how did you know you needed to make a change?
Yeah, I think I pretty much got to breaking point, and I think you feel, and probably there's a lot of women, a lot of people out there that feel the same. Is you just get to this point where you can't think clearly. You're not even making the right decisions anymore. You think you are, or you think this is what you want to do, but they're not the right decisions. And I started breaking down in management meetings, and I thought, hang on a minute, I'm a highly functioning professional here. This is not who I am or what I'm supposed to be where I'm at right now. So I had to make some significant changes. That was a bit of a breaking point for me. Plus my health was deteriorating pretty badly. So I needed to make some pretty significant changes. Yeah, and you just have to make the change.
You do just have to make the change. And for those of you who are watching, and I can see, hello to everyone, has anyone else been in this position? I know it's a bit of a global problem, but has anyone else been in this position as well, where for whatever field you're in, got to the point where you just knew that you couldn't keep going on like this and that something had to change? And this is, we haven't known Mandy in Women's Fitness Adventures she wasn't with us this time last year. But as you're about to see, the story of Mandy finding this work-life balance and really going from this almost burnout, because it's not sustainable, Mandy, to work 2:30 till 3 o'clock. But did you know that deep down?
Not really at the time, I don't think. I was really pushing the boundaries and pushing hard. But, when I look back where I am today, I'm functioning at a high level today. You talked before about being behind. Well, there's always things to do tomorrow. Some things just have to wait. Trying to navigate and reduce some of that workload. It's always going to be there. It's about taking more control, I think, from where you sit.
So Andrea says that she's definitely been there, and Sue says, I don't know if you can see that. So glad that you made that decision and that we have you on board. Thank you, Sue. That's gorgeous. So some of you may not know, or they will not know anything this about you, Mandy, is that you were a high-level athlete before you were this high-level professional. Do you want to share a little bit about that and what that feeling felt like, I think, for you?
Yeah, wow. You're taking me back a few years now, Yvonne. And the Olympics brought back some of that for me too. When I was a teenager, before I finished school and left home to start my career in zookeeping, mind you. I was part of the Australian team and travelled the country and the world for BMX title events, and so that meant a lot of intense training and commitment, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, that was my life, but the training was so intense that it affected me further down in life thinking, and it made it very difficult for me to be able to go back to a gym again and be able to put my body through that intense fitness. So, part of this group, which was just resonated with me so much, is that I can do fitness at any level that I want, and that's okay. And I don't have to do high impact stuff if I don't want to. And I can still get fit along the way.
I think that's the thing, I always, I know what it's like to feel great, and I love that feeling of being great, but I wonder whether, somewhere along the way with everything that life throws at us, that we're all just happy to go, yeah, I feel okay. And we wonder what that feeling of greatness is like. And if you functioned at that high level athlete, to know that you can get that same level feeling without having to put your body through that extreme is a great thing. So Mandy, as I said a year ago, we didn't know you, and what was it that made you come into the Women's Fitness Adventures world?
I think I was pretty much at that breaking point that I talked about before, and then look, I can't put it down to a Facebook algorithm or anything. I hadn't researched anything around hiking or adventures, but Women's Fitness Adventures popped up in my phone. Just scrolling through Facebook one night, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I have to be a part of this. And there was that little challenge. Was it the 5K? The 5K challenge, Egon? Yeah, and I thought, you know what, this is just small enough and little enough for me to be able to get out there, take my dog, and go for a walk down the street. And you know what? I achieved 1 kilometre, I think, for the first start of it, and built myself up because I was so unfit. But yeah, joining was just it just felt right. There was too many things.
So you were at that point where you're at this working all the time and your health is suffering, and then you just made these little, was there a tipping point, or was there, I just have to make a change? Like, what went through your head to go, I can make, was it a micro commitment? Was it putting the you back in you? Can you define any of it?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to really, and it's probably going to be different for everybody. Is what clicks with you, and it's probably a number of things. You know, my health was really bad, and I needed some me time. What was going to make me get away from my desk and start this challenge and start walking and start getting my fitness back? And Women's Fitness Adventures was just the perfect thing for me. You know, having looked through the website, the Facebook pages, it just was a great group of women. We're all sort of around that, you know, that sort of age group, different fitness levels, and I thought, you know what, my dream is to walk the Kokoda Trail, and that's my big ticket item. And how am I going to get there? Well, you know, it's a start. So.
Yeah, that's right. And we all have to start somewhere. So let's just check in. Cindy says she agrees. She used to do hours of high impact sport and had no idea that hiking and walking and low impact sports like Pilates as well could be so rewarding for health and well-being. And I think that it gives you time in your head when you're not at that intensity all the time. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy. And Patricia says the 5K challenge was a catalyst for so many of us. And it was, Patricia. And Annie says, and you'll like this one, Mandy, hi from Noosa, your story ringing lots of bells. So lots of support there. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your story as well. How do I remove that one? For sharing your story as well and giving that support to Mandy, because, you know, we all may think that we are unique and alone with our thoughts and the things that happen to us. But when you start to listen and talk with other women, you realize that we're just different characters, and the stories and threads are quite similar, and we can all learn so much from each other. So, Mandy, you started on this, you know, doing the small increments. How quickly did you start to feel that the Mandy was coming back?
Oh, instantly. As soon as I got out there and started walking, and I didn't want to set too big a task to say, you know what, I have to walk, you know, 5 kilometers today, because I'm thinking, well, how am I going to find time for that? I'm too busy. I'm working. So I just met small steps. I'll just walk down the street with the dog. And then you find yourself, you can do that. And then you just go a little bit further, a little bit further, and a little bit further. But my headspace was just amazing. It's so good to be walking with your own thoughts, to clear your head. And you start to just feel better within yourself. And it wasn't about weight loss or about, you know, doing anything sort of in that area. It was more about, first of all, making some time for me and getting some space to go for a walk and a little bit of exercise. Get away from the desk.
Did your friends and family start to see a difference in you, or did it take a while?
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the you know, it was so lovely, because my husband's away a lot of the time doing maintenance down at the house, and so it's just my son and myself here, and he would sit down with me at night and we'd share conversation, and I say, this is the next challenge for the month, and he's like, all right, no worries. And he'd come home and he'd come for a walk with me, because it was dark, you know, it was winter, it was a struggle to make some time, so he'd keep me company, and he got on board, and that was really supportive as well. But I've used a lot of this as my own journey, and my family are just fitting in around me, so I get lots of grunts and giggles and you know, stuff happening in the house when I head off.
It's amazing, though, because I talked earlier about being unknowingly inspiring, and I was chatting with someone on a hike this morning that, you know, by her doing exactly the same as you, and, you know, her little walks and stuff and bigger hikes that she shares with her family, that they are all now starting to incorporate some movement into their everyday, because it's rubbing off. The positivity within you and within this lady as well is just rubbing off unknowingly onto all of those around you. So the ripple effect gets bigger and bigger. How long? So you did the 5K challenge. What happened? What happened during that week? What happened after that?
The 5K challenge. I think I mean, I think every month you were bringing out different challenges. So that kept the interest kept me going, so I could keep challenging myself and knew there was something new to carry on with. What happened after that? I think the more I felt better about myself, and the more I sort of had this picture of what's my adventure to Kokoda and how am I going to get there, I started looking at some of the other adventures online, and I joined Couch to Mountain program, which was a 6-month structured program, which was a fabulous opportunity to learn all about how to be adventure ready and to be with a group of these incredible women, and you know who you all are, and we've spent so much time with each other. It's really been a life changer for me, because it's kept me on a bit of a plan and continuously learning, continuously challenging myself, and and I just kept walking a little bit further each time, and you talk about the hiker's mindset quite often, Yvonne, and people may have heard that. You don't really understand that you have it until you have it. And then, for me, I detest the cold weather, the wind, the rain, being cold. And then when you go home to the beach and the weather is like that and you cannot wait to get your hiking boots on and your jacket and get out there amongst it, you've caught it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah. For those of you watching who don't know what the Couch to Mountain program is, Mandy is part of our very first pilot program, and a few of the other ladies on here are watching in the program as well. So it is a program. We knew that, and Mandy, it's by application only, and our applications will be opening soon. But it was a program designed to, life. I'm jumping all over the place, but life just sometimes gets in the way. And in Mandy's case, it's this work-life balance. But sometimes we're so busy looking after everybody else, or we have illness or we have injury, that the stuff we really want to do, that getting back to fitness and getting back or into adventure, just seems so far away. So Couch to Mountains is a structured program that takes you off the literal couch to the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. And we're going, aren't we, Mandy and the other ladies watching? Yeah. We're going in 3 weeks' time. Actually, Monday Night Live, saying it here, in 3 weeks' time, we will all of us on Couch to Mountain, will be doing Monday Night Live. We'll be coming to you as a group, because we will have summited that day. So it's a 6-month program, but it's taken us 8 months. So if you're interested in that, just drop us a line below here. But that has formed lots of friendships and stuff like that. But Mandy, you live remotely, probably as remote as I know a couple of our members live remotely as well. One of the things that people often say to us is, I couldn't do what you do because I need to be in person. I need to have that trainer in front of me or that hiker right beside me. How do you stay motivated, and how do you, not get sucked back into that vortex of work and stuff? Have you got the balance right now, and how do you stay there?
Yeah, I think, being a part of this amazing group has given me so many tools, Yvonne. So, and that's through, so many, Monday Live sessions, walk and talks, just different communication stuff that on Facebook, sharing, learning. And I've been able to take a lot of those tools away for me and develop that in lots of other little areas. And the key thing is just little bits, just adding little bits all the time. Not too big chunks, because that often is not achievable. So just work at small things, get to that level, and then pick the next chunk or the next step. Oh God, I've diverted. What was the question again?
No, that's it. No, this is great. This is what it's all about, because everyone is resonating, and I'll share a couple of comments in a minute. But how do you, it is that you're just literally taking the next step, because
the isolation.
The isolation. And how do you not slip? Because when you are isolated, how do you not slip back? Because people say to us, you're not there. I want to be right where you are, Yvonne. It's not, if it's not in person, I'm not interested. Could you have done, how would you, you keep talking.
Look, I think, and that's one of the first things you look at is, where are these hikes? Where are these adventures? You think, oh gosh, I'm interstate. How am I going to do that? But you start, you start looking at what's around you and what's in your area, and you start exploring, and and as many members have found, literally didn't know what was in our own backyard. So I started making a plan, and each week I would do my walks around town given the time that I had. Again, it was winter. I didn't have and it's very dark here in South Australia. So I was a bit refined to what I could do, but I just found stuff I could do. And then each week I would say, right, this is my big hike. And I would pick a destination, so I would be really excited about that. And that might be the Andamuka Opal Fields, which is, 20 kilometres from here, or I'll just pick a nice desert sandy track and just go for a couple of hours and let somebody know where I was going. And then I travel a lot for work as well. So I was always looking and searching, where can I go walking? What's around the area? And you just start to get that mindset, and that keeps you going, knowing, right, when I pack my suitcase, I pack my hiking and my walking bag, and my sneakers are coming with me, and my camel pack. And then, a lot of people might have done that 25,000 step challenge. It sounds huge, and it's like, oh my God, you're crazy. How are you going to do all these stairs? Well, everywhere I drove, everywhere I went, everywhere I looked, I was looking for stairs. So I could go and spend, a half an hour doing stairs. So the fact that I can't be in another state having a walk with somebody, it's been really inspiring, and I absolutely love it that people share the hikes they go on, and you can see their walks and those green trees and the koalas, or you can see my desert pictures that people might not see, and that inspires me every day. And that one of the nicest things is the walk and talks. You can click in and just walk in your own backyard or wherever you want to go and talk to people, talk to ladies that are from interstate about so many wonderful things, and still feel connected. We're not disconnected in any ways. And now that COVID is starting to back down a little bit, people have started already organising to meet up and even travel distances so that a group of them can go hiking. And, it's just, there's so many more things that we can do now that we couldn't do before.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So, Mandy, if we look back to 12 months ago, so we look back to January last year and January now, you're in a very different place to where you were. Could you ever have imagined this time last year that you would be, not the burnt out, almost breaking down Mandy to this, fantastic, thriving, strong woman who's about to conquer a mountain?
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's often difficult. We try and picture forward and try and think what does that look like if I use the same thing that Kokoda Trail or whatever it might be. I mean that's big, but what does that journey look like going backwards? Very different than what you sort of expected, and it's been it's so enjoyable because your little journey sort of weaves and ducks left and right and goes up and down hills, and sometimes it stalls in the one spot for a little while as well. But yeah, look, if I sat here and thought this is where I'd be today, no. But I have worked on it, and I have been not selfish, but I have put me as a priority, because without me being the best me I can be, it makes it difficult to be the best mum or the best wife or best person in my job for other people. And I realise, a lot more than that as well.
Was that hard to do though? As mothers and as women, we have this nurtured gene that we're born with to look after everybody else first. And I know no one's asked a question yet, but I'm sure this is a question they would ask. Is it hard? How hard is it to put you first? And does it get easier the more you do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm in my early 50s, and I don't know whether if other women out there feel the same, but we kind of change as we get older. And I think there's different stages we go through in life, and it's different for all of us. And I would never put myself before my children. I mean, they're always going to come first. But yeah, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but it's getting easier. And I'm becoming more comfortable with the choices I make, that I make for me, and they're the best reasons. So if somebody chooses to question them, then that's on them. It's not on me.
And I think certainly from my own personal experience that the fitter I become, and the more comfortable I become in my own skin, the more confident I am in putting me first and going, this is my time. But I guess that's a journey as well. So I'm going to share just a couple of comments, and if anyone's got questions, please ask, because we're nearly finished here. So I'm just going to share a couple of things when we talk about, burnout and stuff. Cherie says she's been there too in that, burnout and overwhelm, but under different circumstances. She looked after her husband for 10 years with MND 24 hours a day and didn't have time for herself. And that's, thank you for sharing that, Cherie. That's a really personal story and a big, really admirable thing for you to do. Steph says it's all about, fitness is now about being healthy rather than skinny. Yeah, skinny's out the door. Skinny was never in the door. Kathy says work often makes us value ourselves by the achievements others can see. Walking allows us to value ourselves by what we can do and that we've made time for ourselves. Oh, we got philosophers in this group. That's awesome, Kathy. Thank you. Cass, yes, we'll drop you some information on Couch to Mountain. And Sandy says your comment about work and being too busy with work. I found it was the same until I did the 5K challenge as well. I also found it cleared my brain fog, so I was able to focus better at work. Did you find that, Mandy, that you're more productive?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you start getting some exercise and movement and, some fluids and a healthy diet into you, I mean, that's big change.
Yeah, it is a huge change. Yeah, and you just get that clarity. And, there's a big study done where they tested these kids in America and they put the physical fitness classes first thing in the morning before maths and physics and stuff. And the kids went from being nowhere in the American school system to way at the top, because that positive energy and the endorphins and the focus that activity preceding something difficult gave them made such a difference to their outcomes. So let me see. Lorelei says, I don't put barriers in my way like distance from a city. And we know that you live in rural Queensland as well, or not rural, but country Queensland, and you schedule something to look forward to as well. Margaret says, and thank you everyone for their comments, they're amazing. Their connectedness is what is so special about Women's Fitness Adventures. And Sue in Melbourne says, I get to the point where we have to put ourselves a bit higher up the priorities, if only to be a role model for our kids as well. Let's see. And Patricia, here we go, Mandy. You are showing your kids a very good example. They're learning all the time from you, even when they are your age. Yeah, and I think that's something we don't see, and our kids can share that. And Cass says, amazing how quickly you get motivated and feel good, and how quickly you can lose it. You did September last year and had all intentions to keep up with the activity, but then lost the motivation. And I think that was the difference. We had a lot of ladies join our 5 kilometre for 5 day challenge, and many continued on with us, and we've seen the difference that continuing on makes, and some didn't, and I don't really know where they are now, so we just know we made a positive impact. So Mandy, two last questions. How's your life changed in the last 12 months? If you had to describe it then to now, what would you say?
It's changed completely, and we say 12 months. I mean, I joined Women's Fitness Adventures back in May, early June. So it's less than 12 months, and it's just been huge. I've been able to gain my health and fitness, my mental health back. Just mind, body, and soul is just so much better than what it was, or would I've ever even dreamed it to be. I'm in a really great space, and I'm excited because it's a journey that I'm just going to keep continuing on with, and I just love all the women in the group. It's such a warm environment, such lovely ladies in the group as well. So,
well, you're one of them.
Yeah. And I could just say that I might not have conquered Kokoda yet, but I'm certainly conquering the life-work balance. And, and that's a switch. It's not going to be work-life balance. It's got to be life-work balance, because life is so super important. The work's always going to be there, but it's almost second. So,
And that's such a shift from where you were,
Yeah.
which is so amazing. And, kudos to you for really, one of your comments is, and Mandy's story will be available on the website in the next couple of days, but you said, when you just know, and we couldn't even describe what that is. You just know. There's just something that you have to do, and you can't stay where you are, and you need to make a change. So last question, Mandy, is what would you say, like we have a lot of women who follow us on Facebook and may have followed us for years, some of them. What would you say to someone who was looking at women's fitness adventures thinking, is it for me or is it not for me?
I would say come and join us, make some memories. It's massive change to your lifestyle if that's where you want it to go. Take the step. It's just a small step, and then create your steps going forward from there. I promise you won't look back. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mandy, for sharing your story. I know it takes a lot to get in front of people, so just keep looking at the green dot. Yeah. Just pretend no one's there. That's what I do every week. And thank you so much for sharing your story, because it is inspiring. It is amazing. It takes a lot to, switch it from work life to life work, and to get harmony in our life and feel good and all those wonderful positive health outcomes that you've had. And, in 3 weeks' time, we will all be standing there on the summit of Mount Kosciuszko as a Couch to Mountain team, and, really having been on a journey together for that. So if you're watching and you have any further questions, you can pop them in here and we'll come back to them and answer them. So we're going to let Mandy go now, and I'll just wrap up. So thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you popping
Thanks
on here.
For letting
we'll
catch up
with you soon. You're most welcome.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Bye. See ya.
So I hope you enjoyed our member story with Mandy. It's truly inspirational, and, just to keep taking those tiny, tiny steps. We don't have to know where the journey is going. We just need to keep taking steps in the direction that we are planning to go. So for those of you who have listed on here that you're interested in our Couch to Mountain program, I will respond to you either this afternoon or maybe tomorrow if I don't get to it tonight, and just let you know that we will register your interest, and details will be coming out soon. If you are interested in membership, scroll along the bottom, just head to our website, womensfitnessadventures.com, and there is a Become a Member button, and you can join. Membership is open right now. Thank you to everyone who has stayed the course and watched Mandy's story. If you are a member and would like to share your story, then please, drop me a line, and we really love to hear it, because everyone has a unique story that will impact on someone else. To all of our members who are watching, thank you very much for showing up and sharing your support for Mandy. It is truly appreciated. We have our Zoom Active not functional fitness Tuesday tone up tomorrow afternoon. We have functional fitness on Thursday. We've got some training, and we've got a couple of ventures that only have a few spots left. So our Mount Moffat adventure, we have a Great Ocean Road third adventure, which isn't on the website. So there's 4 spots left on that. So if you're interested, please drop a note below. And we have our Outback Queensland one that's also on the website. We're adding a couple more, but they are filling up really fast. Most adventures sell out really, really quickly. So if you're interested in those, please drop in. So that's it from me. We are off to have a Couch to Mountain meeting now. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you being here, and we will be back next Monday night for Monday Night Live. Talk to you then. Bye.